giving a presentation. The only stuff I've really been doing since COVID has happened is cholesterol screenings. So thank you for letting me get out of scrubs and come enjoy the sunshine and see all of you. And of all the topics to discuss, Justin and I kind of thought this one would be most fitting, just given this past year, given even what we're still currently going through. At least we have more sunshine heading our way, warmer weather, and hopefully more good foods to help fuel our bodies in the best way we can. Because when we're stressed, often, high sugar, high salt, high fat foods can be comforting, and they don't always give our body still the best nutrition, the best absorption to help us feed our bodies and feel our best. Oh, words are hard. So let's get started. Like Justin mentioned, so I am a Hy-Vee dietitian, so if I look familiar, my home store is Waukee, so I'm just 2 miles down the road. I've been with Hy-Vee for over 8 years. This career path started when I was a sophomore in college. So I went to Iowa State and did my dietetics degree up there, and one summer I came home, parents live in Clive, and I was offered the option to work part-time at the Valley West Hy-Vee. So that's where I kind of got my feet wet and realized I really enjoyed community nutrition. So working with all different ages out in the community and really diving into preventative disease, so hoping to help people before they're diagnosed with diabetes or before their health spirals out of control. I do have a certificate of training in adult weight management, so I really do enjoy working with the adult population. But as far as dietitian services, Hy-Vee offers a lot, and we've actually now transitioned to virtual services. So I'm not really showing off my Zoom skills today and technology so far, but usually it is very slick to set up an appointment, and we can do it virtually from the comfort of your home to discuss better food choices and your health needs. Cooking classes, we actually are offering these virtually as well for both adults and kids. We try to make these interactive. You can cook along with us, kind of a fun activity. Like I mentioned, the biometric screenings, those are actually finger pricks where we check your cholesterol, and in 15 minutes you can leave with the results in hand. So that's kind of been a fun service to provide the community, especially just to get instant feedback on your eating habits. And I always like to just share, I do have a favorite fun food. I am human, I love all foods, both healthy and not as healthy. Right now my favorite fun food, I have to say, is Chick-fil-A. So before we really dive in, I'm gonna switch to this microphone, I think. Is this, oh yeah, I like this better. Okay, so before we dive in, I just thought I'd take a poll. Raise your hand if you've ever tried a Hy-Vee dietitian service. Doesn't have to be with me, but it could be the Jordan Creek Hy-Vee, it could be Valley West, it could be Altoona. Has anyone ever worked with a Hy-Vee dietitian? All right, so clearly I have my work cut out for me, right? So a couple different options. I'll talk more about these at the end if you're ever interested, and a lot of these services are free. So whether it's in person or again over Zoom now, there's a lot of great options at no cost to you. Has anyone seen this? My plate. Okay, so going back to home ec or what else was it called? Family Consumer Sciences classes, right? There we go. My plate was not around. It was called the Food Guide Pyramid, and I remember seeing that triangle on loaves of bread, and that was kind of the general guidelines. Well, that's been replaced with this My Plate, and you can see half of the plate is fruits and vegetables. There's a portion of grains, there's some protein, and then there's dairy. So there are 5 food groups. When we think of eating balanced and nutritionally sound, these are the 5 food groups I want you to have every day at most of your meals. But when we're stressed, often our meals start to look more like this. Chocolate, anything. Maybe some salty foods. Maybe you love chips or French fries. Cold pizza. In the very small bottom, red, it says fruits, veggies, and other icky stuff. And maybe the dairy or the water gets replaced with beer, wine, soda, right? A lot of sugary, high-calorie, dietitians would call this not nutrient-dense foods. So that's why I really wanted to kind of focus in on this My Plate and how can we make healthy eating easy and simple and not so stressful. So a fun fact or graphic that I always love to use, stressed spelled backwards is actually desserts. So I don't know if that's just a very ironic coincidence, but when I am stressed, I do love chocolate, I do love sweets. But I want you to reflect, what does it look like for you? Is it skipping a meal? Often when people are stressed, maybe it's with a work assignment or a homework assignment, maybe they're skipping meals. Is it eating a lot of grab and go, whether that's takeout, whether that's eating in your room? Is it eating all of one food group? So maybe it's all protein foods, or maybe comfort foods tend to be carbohydrates, so maybe it's a lot of potatoes, fries, rolls. And then really reflect on how does that make you feel? Do you feel shaky, whether that's a blood sugar issue? Do you feel constipated? Do you feel strong? Or do you feel fatigued and low energy? And then most importantly, how does it taste, right? We want foods to taste good, but so do stressed foods, do they taste heavy? Do they taste sugary? Or my favorite is when people tell me this tastes healthy. I put this in quotes. I don't know what that means. What does healthy taste like to you? And like Justin mentioned, we'll get to taste some healthy, stress-relieving foods here in a bit. In the 21st century, this graphic is now my new go-to from this past year. People need to social distance themselves from their refrigerator. Often, it's the concept of out of sight, out of mind. When we have chocolates left on the kitchen counter, or even the cookie jar, we're more likely to go back for seconds or thirds throughout the day. I used to work with a gentleman, he'd always wear a button-up shirt with the pocket up in his corner, and he'd always put M&Ms in his shirt pocket, and he would refill that pocket multiple times throughout the day, where we realized, okay, he's probably consumed 300 calories in M&Ms. Probably not the best for his blood sugar control or his weight loss goals. So that is one negative side effect of stress. Right now they're saying about 43% of all adults are suffering adverse health effects from stress. And this could be anything from obesity, weight gain. They're calling it the COVID-15. Instead of the freshman 15, people would gain 15 pounds in college. They're now regaining around 15 to 20 pounds during the pandemic. It could influence blood sugar, so diabetes. It could affect high blood pressure and heart disease. And also, stress can affect our depression, our anxiety, also our breathing, so asthma. It can affect our gut health as far as irritable bowel, infertility, and then of course the headaches, the muscle tension, and premature aging. A better visual might be to see this from head to toe, just how stress can really affect all different parts of the body. So that's why we really wanted to focus in on this month. It's National Nutrition Month, and April is actually Stress Awareness Month. So we thought, Justin and I thought the two would really tie together well. So when you're thinking of stress and how to improve, besides going for a walk and getting more sunshine, from a food standpoint, where could you start? Where could you focus? The first spot I would say would be to stop the sugar. And here I'm talking about added sugar. So when we look at added sugar, they say roughly about 22 teaspoons are consumed every day, which is about half a cup of added sugar. I think of when I'm making cookies or brownies with my mom, when we're baking around the holidays. Typically the recipe will call for half a cup of sugar, but usually we share the brownies or the cake or whatever it is, with family. But here, really, they're saying we consume about half a cup of added sugar each day, which is kind of gross when you think of it that way. The American Heart Association recommends about 6 teaspoons a day for women. Men, depending on if you're taller, bone structure, maybe up to 9. Ideally, I think still around 6 teaspoons a day is great for everyone. But like I said, we're averaging about 22. So we have our work cut out for us. And sugar, if you didn't already know, it's what's driving obesity. That's a whole nother pandemic in itself. I do like this visual. For those of you that are soda or pop drinkers, I always think of, when you have your morning coffee, you'll probably open a sugar packet or 2. If you're having a soda, it's like opening 22 sugar packets, which just seems insane, right? You wouldn't do that, and you wouldn't eat 22 sugar packets, but when it's in a liquid form, it's very easy to drink and enjoy. So one way to stop the sugar or be more mindful of how much sugar you're consuming would be to look at a food label. Now the food label has recently gotten a facelift, and by 2021, most food labels now look like the visual here on the right. Does anyone see what looks different? Anything you notice?
Calories are larger.
Yes, calories are much larger, which is nice, a little easier to see. Look.
The serving size.
Yes, you both hit some really good things. Serving size at the very top, it's a little bit bolder and bigger. You can see half cup is the serving size. And then someone mentioned vitamins. So if you look down at the vitamins, on the left, you'll see vitamin A and vitamin C. If you look on the right, those are gone. It's actually now vitamin D and calcium, iron, and potassium is what got added. So we're finding we get enough vitamin A and vitamin C. Scurvy isn't as common anymore, but yet we're all having high blood pressure, and we're all depressed or having extra stress in our lives. And so vitamin D and potassium are 2 considered nutrients of concern. The guidelines are updated every 5 years, so they just recently got updated for 2021 to 2025. So right now, you'll see I'm going to dive in a little more about vitamin D, and I'll mention potassium some more too, for heart health, blood pressure control, overall general wellness. There's one other big thing above here I want you to see. What looks different?
Added sugar?
Yes. So sugar, I apologize, I didn't bring my pointer, I'm not tall enough. Added sugar has its own row now. So now we'll see the breakdown. If the food contains blueberries, that is a natural source of sugar. But if the recipe or the food contains blueberries and honey and brown sugar, that's going to be considered added sugar. So when I said to limit your added sugar to about 6 teaspoons a day, I'm just talking about added sugar. Blueberries are great, bananas are great, apples are great. That's considered all natural sugar. So here we can see there's 8 grams of added sugar. The 6 teaspoons a day goal, if we want to think about that in grams, 6 teaspoons is 24 grams of added sugar. So this food contains 8 grams of added sugar, which would still fit in our diet. We have about 16 grams left for the day, if that makes sense. You didn't know you were all doing some math today, huh?
Oh, why do they put vitamin D and iron 0?
Oh, so whatever this food is, it just doesn't contain it. So
Why
vitamin,
would they put it on there? I mean,
Because it's just a label.
you're not gonna go to candy to think it's gonna have a lot of vitamin D in it.
true. I think it's just for awareness, so you know, even if you thought this food might have vitamin D in it, it really doesn't. Like when it comes to produce foods, it would say 0 for every produce item, except for maybe mushrooms.
Huh.
So vitamin D is hard to get in a lot of our foods. You'll see it's higher in fortified foods. So your cereals, your breads would have vitamin D in it. Oh, here, I forgot I added this slide. So this would show you the bigger differences. Like you all pointed out, the serving size has gotten a little bit bigger and bolder, which I think this matters. I think of if I even go to Subway, right? I get a sandwich and a bag of chips. That bag of chips, sometimes the serving size is actually 3 servings. And if I eat the whole bag of chips, then I have to take 240 calories times 3. Then I have to take my added sugar times 3. So sometimes it can add up and you don't realize it. So serving size is kind of a big key thing to look out for. And then I would really go down and look at the added sugar. Again, 24 grams or less per day is kind of our goal. And then as an added bonus, if there is vitamin D in the food, if there is potassium, if there's iron or calcium, those are all great extra micronutrients to have. I'm sure you've heard this before. Food is fuel. Dietitians always kind of like to refer to your car and your gas tank and how you don't want to run on empty. And it's essential not only just for fueling our bodies, but especially for mental health, to help our brain stay really nourished. About 80% of our diet is actually, or 80% of our body composition is through diet. So many times I hear people say, well, I just haven't been to the gym lately, I haven't been exercising. And exercise definitely plays a role, especially in strength and muscle building, but overall, even if you have a broken leg and you can't exercise, 80% of what you can control as far as your overall health is through diet and what you feed yourself. I plan to update this stat about the average American gaining 1 to 2 pounds. It may be higher now, just given what we've gone through. But one thing I always like to kind of reflect on whenever I'm at a Thanksgiving meal or a buffet or some kind of food spread is to kind of reflect on if you don't love it, don't eat it. I know we've all grew up in like the era of politeness and manners, so a 1-bite rule is totally acceptable. But this day and age, if you don't love the overcooked apple pie, maybe it's really dry, there's no need to eat foods that you don't enjoy. It all comes down to having a plate with balance. So the big visual, I guess, when I look at my plate is I want half of my plate to be filled with fruits and vegetables. Lots of color, lots of vitamins and minerals here. Not a lot of fat, not a lot of sugar. The other 2 portions, I want to have lean protein. So typically I like to look at my palm, and that's kind of considered a good serving for protein. And then whole grains. So this is where the comfort foods can come into play, but more whole grain comfort foods. So think a baked potato, a sweet potato, maybe brown rice, a whole wheat roll, not necessarily French fries, white rice. Those are the big ones, I would say. If you can think of another comfort food, feel free to interject. So now reflecting on kind of where you're at, go ahead and raise your hand if you think, yeah, I'm a 10 out of 10. I love my fruits and veggies. I do a good job of getting these daily. Awesome. Love to see it. Would anyone say, I'm decent overall? I have room for improvement. I'm there yeah. Anyone a picky eater or know someone, maybe a loved one who's a picky eater, and their diet lacks a lot of variety? I see this often. I have clients that only like chicken and they only like carrots. So we're working on expanding their color and their palette on their plate. Would anyone rather do their taxes than think about eating healthy? I put that on here. I don't know. Tax season's upon us, but good. I'm glad no one raised their hand for that. So like I mentioned, the one food or vitamin really of concern for 2021 in terms of stress and feeling good is vitamin D. So about 90% of us don't consume enough. So that's the majority of us in this room, if we're just assuming. Vitamin D, I'm sure you've heard about it. It's our sunshine vitamin, which luckily we're coming into more sunshine months, but typically where Iowa is at with the equator, we still don't get enough vitamin D, the appropriate amount from the sun's rays. So the best way is through food. But when you think of food sources, it's often mushrooms, salmon, it could be egg yolks. That's kind of it. I mentioned fortified foods, but usually it's a small amount. So often people will supplement. Vitamin D is crucial for our bone health, so we don't break bones, keeping our immune system strong, and just keeping us overall feeling healthy. There is a range I put in here for those of you that get your cholesterol done yearly. If your doctor ever checks your vitamin D, this is kind of the range of what's considered healthy, 40 to 100. I had mine done a couple years back. I was just kind of curious where I fell. I was a 28. So I was on the low end, even though I love salmon, I love mushrooms and eggs. But I think just, again, living in Iowa, I was part of that 90% who didn't get enough vitamin D. Another nutrient of concern, or a food that helps you feel good, both mentally and physically, would be more omega-3s. So this is where fish comes into play. Those of you in this room, do you like fish? Oh, wonderful. Sometimes it's hit or miss in Iowa and the Midwest. You know, we do get some really great fresh fish and seafood, but sometimes it's very 50-50. You love it or you hate it. But fish is full of omega-3s, and that's what our brains love. It's also what our heart loves. And in terms of a goal, ideally, American Heart Association encourages you to eat fish twice a week, which I'm sure here at Deerfield, they do have fish on the menu, often for that reason. One of the foods I really like when I'm short on time are these chicken of the sea. They're tuna cups. These are cool in the sense that they've really updated canned tuna over the past 10, 20 years. I always just thought of it, canned tuna and water or oil. Well, now they've infused herbs, which you could easily do yourself. I just hadn't thought of it.
Never.
So this is tuna with basil infused. So now a fishy protein has a fresh herb flavor to it. They also have flavors like lemon and thyme. So again, just more herbs. Is anyone growing herbs or have any herbs in their place? No?
No, I don't.
Is there a garden here?
Yeah, during the summer.
Okay, so maybe this summer, if we grow basil or thyme, you could incorporate it into some fish. Just a very neat concept, I thought, and a way to make eating more seafood more enjoyable. Fish in general is rich in omega-3s. Now there's 3 types. Not that you have to know this, but often I will see, even on a box of spaghetti, it'll say omega-3 pasta, or I'll see omega-3 crackers. Those contain ALA, and ALA gets converted to this EPA and DHA, but EPA and DHA are ideal. That's what's in your fish. That's the best source of omega-3, but the ALA is also good. It's good for our skin and hair specifically. You'll also see that in other nuts and seeds, like walnuts, pecans. Another thing to really focus in on in terms of stressing less would be magnesium. So I love this graphic in the top. It says stressed, sore muscles, insomnia, craving chocolate. You need magnesium. So many times I hear adults say, I'm always craving chocolate. Or I have trouble sleeping at night, I get a Charlie horse, or my leg is spasming, or my eye is twitching. I get that like heartbeat in my eyeball. It's not a direct correlation you need magnesium, but it could indicate that you need more magnesium in your diet. 55% of us don't get enough magnesium. So again, pretty high percentage. And this is essential for mental health. Magnesium is a mineral. It also helps with our immune system. So I wanted to just really tackle the best foods for your immune system. It helps with controlling blood sugar levels. So this is good for diabetes. And it also helps normalize your blood pressure. So often someone that has higher blood pressure, they may also just need more magnesium in their diet to help improve their blood pressure. So how do you do that? Well, this is a picture of pumpkin seeds. Does anyone ever snack on pumpkin seeds? I love them. They're really high in magnesium. They're great in granola. You could just put them in a trail mix. You could top your yogurt with them. I actually like them on top of cottage cheese. You could put them on a salad. You could do whatever you want with them. These are just sea salt based. They sell ones that are chocolate. They have cinnamon. But pumpkin seeds, really high in magnesium. Sunflower seeds would be another good magnesium source. Black beans, lentils, dark leafy greens. Or you'll see Hy-Vee's got different supplements. So for people that don't love beans or don't love legumes, they could do some supplements. The Calm on the right-hand side is a powder you mix in your water. Another great way to absorb magnesium would actually be to take an Epsom salt bath. So you would soak in Epsom salts for about 15 to 20 minutes, and you actually absorb the magnesium through your skin. So there's different options there. I like that in the sense that it also makes you have some me time to de-stress. Maybe you read a book, or listen to some jazz, whatever you need. But maybe it's a win-win that way. So in terms of foods that can help, again, helping promote less stress in our diet, first goal I would say would be to eat breakfast every morning. If you've nailed that, I grew up where I ate breakfast every morning, so I've been doing this, ever since I was 5. Mom would not let me leave the door unless I ate breakfast. Now, it was not always a balanced breakfast, right? I grew up on Pop-Tarts, Eggo waffles, cereal. So if you have breakfast every morning, the next bonus layer there to this challenge would be to look at how much protein. Could you aim for about 15 grams of protein? So this could be scrambled eggs. This could be having a bowl of oatmeal, but adding some peanut butter or some nuts on top. Or one of my newer favorites is having avocado toast with a hard-boiled egg or an over-easy egg for extra protein. Has anyone had avocado toast in here? Did you like it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's one of my
I've
favorites.
heard of it.
You know why? I grew up eating so much peanut butter toast, and then I just got burnt out on peanut butter toast.
A lot of people do.
Or I wanted to share with you this one video as far as an easy way to get more protein in your diet. Say you're not feeling like going down
I love avocado.
for lunch or breakfast, but this is a really easy way to boost your protein. This Valentine's Day, show your love with this delicious and heart-healthy breakfast. Hi, I'm Erin Good, a Hy-Vee registered dietitian. Today on Hy-Vee Healthy You, an alternative idea for Valentine's Day, an easy egg and black bean wrap. Valentine's Day doesn't have to be about candy. Start your sweetheart's day with this good-for-you breakfast. In a microwave-safe mug, mix up 2 Hy-Vee omega-3 eggs, a couple tablespoons of skim milk,
Don't have to be brown.
a sprinkle of taco seasoning. Then stir in some reduced fat shredded cheese. I love using the microwave for my eggs. No muss, no fuss. And it's fast. Only takes a couple minutes. And now for the tortilla. Watch closely for this cool little hack. Make a slit like this, then start adding your fillings. Think of the tortilla being divided in quarters, and fill each of them with heart-healthy ingredients. Black beans for fiber to help lower cholesterol, some colorful bell peppers, which pack a punch of vitamin C to help slow the buildup of plaque in arteries. Some pico de gallo, tomatoes are rich in lycopene to reduce cholesterol and inflammation. And then finally, the eggs. And now let's wrap this up. Simply fold your tortilla like this. So simple. You get all the ingredients in every bite. You can eat it just like this, or sear it on a griddle or a panini press for a crispy, toasted finish. What a great way to start your day, and show how much love you have for your sweetie's heart. Start your journey to better heart health today. Visit Hy-Vee.com/health and connect virtually with your Hy-Vee dietitian to learn the basics of a heart-healthy diet.
I like that idea.
So I may have overstuffed that tortilla,
Juicy honey is always ready.
which has always been an issue whenever I have wraps or tortillas. I always overstuff. But has anyone ever had scrambled eggs that they cook in the microwave?
Yeah.
So this is something I wish I had known in college. I did not know about this until, I don't know, I was 25 years old. But it's a very simple way to, again, eat protein, very lean. All you need is a coffee mug, or I even just use a glass Pyrex. Sometimes I'll put a little spray or just put a little milk down first so that the egg doesn't stick entirely to the container. But you microwave about 30 to 45 seconds at a time, maybe give it a stir and then microwave a little bit more. And they're super fluffy. You can do whatever you want with them, whether you just want to eat them on their own. And for some reason it's just, I don't know, it's only a coffee mug to clean up or put in the dishwasher versus cleaning a whole skillet. So I wanted to share that with you. And it was an easy way if you wanted to make it as a wrap. If you have family visiting or the grandkids, I thought it was kind of a cool idea of taking your wrap and making it into fourths and then, you know, kind of customizing it with your favorite toppings. So you'll see I chose black beans for the magnesium. There was some crunchy, colorful bell peppers. You could use salsa, you could do shredded cheese, guacamole. So you can really customize that. But for other ideas and that type of sort, I would direct you to YouTube. Hy-Vee now has a YouTube channel with all kinds of recipe ideas similar to that one. Okay, so that was goal 1. Eat breakfast and aim for more protein. Let's hide that. There we go. Goal 2, I would say, would be to focus on smart snacks. So in terms of snacking smarter, this is where more protein and fiber, they make a really good pair because they both help keep us full and yet they won't spike our blood sugar as much. Because typically if we eat something higher sugar without any fiber, our blood sugar spikes and then we crash pretty quickly. Those Snickers commercials that you see when they're like, you're hungry, eat a Snickers. It's somewhat realistic in the sense that, yes, when our blood sugar's low, we're cranky, we're irritable. Not that the Snickers is the best option, but there are some peanuts in it. So other good options would be maybe a hard-boiled egg with some bell peppers. Again, I'd probably put some cheese or salsa or something with it, but that's a great combination. I love cheese with some kind of fruit, whether it's apple slices or grapes pictured here. That's a really nice combination. You could do an apple with peanut butter. Recently, I've really enjoyed envy apples. So there's all kinds of varieties of apples, but has anyone had an envy apple? So the reason I like an envy apple is when you cut it, it doesn't brown the way a Red Delicious would, or a Gala, or a Fuji apple. The way it's grown, it has more vitamin C, and the vitamin C is what helps the apple not turn brown as quickly. So I like to cut my apple into slices and then I'll have it for lunch. I don't like biting into an apple, and so this way, if I don't eat the apple right away, it still looks pretty good. It's not as brown as a traditional apple. So anyways, I like envy apples with peanut butter. I do really love pistachios with fruit. Now, pistachios are unique and frustrating because they can slow you down, right? You have to kind of pop them open, which is good in the sense that typically we can eat nuts very quickly with the palm of our hand. So pistachios are a good option there. I do love, for a snack, instead of something packaged, the more you could eat crunchy vegetables, and whether you enjoy them with ranch or hummus or guacamole, whatever dip makes it fun and enjoyable. Sugar snap peas are a great vegetable. I really like bell peppers. Those mini bell peppers are nice and sweet. Yogurt and fruit, always a good combination as well. So just some different combinations here that are not so packaged. Now I did have Justin go to the store and he got a couple packaged options that we'll talk about in a few minutes here and why I chose those. But at the end of the day, it's basically you need to have a plan. So you need to have maybe some snacks at home, both nutritious and maybe your favorite sweets, but having them out of sight, out of mind. I really love frozen vegetables for the nights you just don't feel like cooking. It's still a healthier option than takeout. And a lot of different vegetables, the frozen foods have really gotten a facelift in the last 3 to 5 years, I would say. These veggie spirals are newer. Has anyone really experimented with zucchini noodles or carrot noodles or beet noodles? It's kind of a fun, if you have, again, family over or grandkids, I love to spiralize zucchini with kids. I think it's so cool. And it reminds them of sharpening your pencil, so it's kind of like pencil sharpener. Edamame is another favorite. Now this is frozen. You just heat this up in the microwave, and this is actually Japanese soybeans. So soy is going to be a high source of protein. You actually don't eat the outside, you just eat the inside, the pod. So it's a nice fun finger food. I like this as an appetizer before dinner instead of bread. I had a client who would always eat, bread and butter before dinner. And so we talked about bread and butter is great, but it's not super nutritious. There's not a lot of fiber. Oh no. Our meeting's ending, no. Justin, I don't know.
We were supposed to be on for an hour, so that
So anyway, so edamame could be a fun appetizer possibly with more nutrition, with more protein and more fiber. In this bottom right corner, these are pre-cooked chicken meatballs. So even if you want to have a meatball sandwich for lunch or dinner, you just have to decide how you want to heat these up. Is it on a skillet? Is it in the microwave? Here is a lean protein option already cooked. You don't even have to be skilled in the kitchen to enjoy a chicken meatball sandwich. Green Giant also has these protein bowls. Again, you just microwave these, and it's filled with corn, black beans, other lentils, and legumes. You can always stop by Hy-Vee. They always have the rotisserie chickens, so that's always a shortcut option. So your protein's already done. Now it's just figuring out what vegetables do I want to have for dinner, and do we want to have rice or potatoes, or what kind of grain would we like with the meal. Here's more images of other vegetables. Veggies now are in tot form, so instead of tater tots, you could have broccoli tots, cauliflower tots. Sweet potato cauliflower tots are my favorite. Has anyone had these? If anyone owns an air fryer, they're really fun in the air fryer. I do not, but I was able to borrow a client's one time, and we had a fun time experimenting with veggie tots in the air fryer. Pizza, if you haven't seen or heard, it's now becoming cauliflower crust based. So they're making veggies into the pizza crust. So you'll see Hy-Vee has some frozen cauliflower pizzas. Also, they're taking, cauliflower was the vegetable for 2020. For 2021, they're saying it's going to be chickpeas. So just if you start seeing more chickpea products, chickpeas are actually gonna become the new pizza crust as well. But riced veggies, so they're now taking cauliflower and they basically put it in a food processor, so it's very fine and it resembles rice. Now often I like to still have rice, but I like to add in the cauliflower rice. So I just get an extra vegetable and it's kind of hidden. But this isn't a way to then crack an egg and scramble it and you have a fried rice, healthified. Or you can see there's other zoodles, there's beet zoodles, or beet veggie noodles, butternut squash, even sweet potato. You can almost spiralize any vegetable you want. Cauliflower mashed potatoes, has anyone tried those?
Yeah.
What do we think?
Good.
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 Mixed reviews? Okay. Yeah, I would say, I mean, overall pretty good, but I know it's still not the same as mashed potatoes, but if it's helping you with whatever your health goals are, could be an option. This is also very interesting. This is pasta made out of lentils and zucchini. So instead of pasta just being made out of semolina flour, they're now adding in vegetables. So all kinds of options. And last, I gave this food their own slide because I think they're so important. I grew up eating beets all the time, so I have always loved beets, but I know beets can also be a hit or miss with people. But beets are one of the most energizing natural vegetables, and they're super sweet. So they kind of hit a lot of different bases, I think. But they're high in what's called nitric oxide. And what nitric oxide does is it helps relax our blood vessels so the blood flows more easily. The blood's carrying oxygen, so we feel more alert, more awake, almost more caffeinated, but there's no caffeine in the beet. It's great for blood pressure support as well as cholesterol, and they're rich in potassium. So I mentioned how we're, as Americans, falling short in potassium. So beets are a great option. Oh, I'm thinking of farmers markets coming up. I always see a bunch of beets for sale. If you think beets are a pain to clean, which they can be, Hy-Vee now has you covered. We have different ones. This is Melissa's. You can see it says peeled and steamed and ready to eat. So whether you want to put this on your salad, I grew up always eating pickled beets with eggs. Often you'll see beets paired with some kind of cheese. Maybe it's a goat cheese or a feta, mozzarella. There's no rules, however you want to enjoy them. But just know they are heart healthy and they're good source of potassium. Anyone have a favorite way to eat beets?
Just a beet salad.
Yeah, beet salad.
And they've got so many different kinds of beets. I always think of that color, but they've got white ones and they've got some that are so pretty inside. They're all spiral in there.
That's a good point. Yeah, so beets aren't even all purplish red anymore. They're yellow, they're white.
Right, yeah.
And as far as nutrition goes, yeah, any color would be great. And maybe the white ones or the yellow ones wouldn't stain so much, because man, these ones can really stain your clothes. That's the biggest, I think, complaint about beets. And some people think they're still fairly earthy tasting. I think it's hit or miss. But even canned beets, you could buy just canned beets and have them with your meal as an extra veggie. So like I said, before we go into snacks and talking about that, I just wanted to let you all know that if you do have more questions or you want to focus on, diabetes, heart health, whatever it is, you can now connect with me or your preferred Hy-Vee dietitian virtually, and it's through our secure telehealth platform. So it is HIPAA compliant. You don't have to worry about hackers and that kind of stuff. And it still is Zoom, but it's through our telehealth platform. As far as different services, we do offer each month these free virtual store tours. We bring the grocery store to you and talk about better snack foods, better side dishes, and different topics can be general wellness, it can be diabetes, friendly foods, heart health. This month we're focusing on allergies. It's Allergy Awareness Month, so we're doing different tours focused on soy, dairy, wheat, shellfish, nuts, all the different allergies. Coming up, we'll be focusing on plant-based. That's really growing each year now, or every month. As we enter grilling season, what other plant-based foods can you enjoy on the grill? So more of a veggie burger, or tofu, chickpeas, like I mentioned. And for those of you that like numbers and don't mind finger pricks, I did want to let you all know in April, it's Diabetes Awareness Month, as well as stress awareness, a lot of different holidays or awareness months, but an A1C is a finger prick, and it shows what your blood sugar has been over the past 2 to 3 months. So if we do it in April, it would be kind of showing how have you been eating so far this new year. It comes out as a percentage, and it takes about 5 minutes to perform this test. It's typically $35, but Hy-Vee is giving them away for free for the whole month of April. It just depends on each store location. So I haven't been told yet what week I will be offering these for free at Waukee, but you can always check on Hy-Vee.com for updates. And I can always even let Justin know when I have available in April. You don't have to fast for this, so you can do it any time of day. And I mean, ideally this is for someone who's diabetic, wants to see how their blood sugar's been, but also if diabetes runs in your family or pre-diabetes, this is a great way to see how have I been with maintaining my blood sugar. Because stress can increase our blood sugar. So hopefully we all have lower A1Cs. Anyone have a question on this? Okay. If you're wanting help with meal planning, this is also a new service we started offering during the pandemic. We put together meal plans. So if that's something you're looking for, or you know of family members, or even college kids living on their own that need maybe more balanced meals and structure, we are offering meal plans now. These are designed for 1 to 2 people, but can always be customized for more. And I love this quote. Well, I love both of these quotes, but this upper left-hand corner, I actually saw it at a gym at Anytime Fitness in Waukee years ago, but I really liked it. It spoke to me. It says, if you fail, never give up, because fail means first attempt in learning. And I think really the whole health journey, we're always learning, right? You're learning how to cook the quinoa without burning it. You're learning how to cook fish without making it, smell so fishy. And maybe you're learning how to eat more potassium-rich foods. So you're always learning, so I really like that. So don't give up. And this is also another quote I really enjoy. I really regret eating healthy today, said no one ever. Okay, so if you try some of these foods tonight, this afternoon, and you don't like them, I don't think you'll regret it, but hopefully it's just a learning experience.
So we can open it up for questions?
Yeah, let's open some questions.
You guys have some questions for Erin? All right, not all at the same time, everyone.
I know.
All right.
Yes.
Yes, Phyllis.
There are such a variety of yogurts. Oh, yeah. What should we do? Just read the label?
Oh man, so yogurts. First off would be, do you like Greek or regular? The big difference between those two is going to be the protein amount. So regular yogurts can be 5, 6, probably 7 grams of protein. Greek will be around 15. Sometimes I feel like we talk about protein all the time in the media, in the nutrition world. Sometimes we get enough protein, but then sometimes we don't. It really depends on how much meat you consume, eggs, do you snack on nuts, do you use a protein powder? Unfortunately, they say, after age 30, that was kind of our peak to building muscle mass, and then after that our bodies start breaking down more lean muscle. So we do need more protein. We also need more strength training and just body weight exercises, whether that's a plank or a squat or a push-up. So it's up to you. Greek yogurt tends to be a little more thicker, can kind of dry your mouth out. It depends on the sugar. Each brand is so different. So some brands will use real sugar. Some brands start using artificial sweeteners like a sucralose. Stevia is going to be a natural sweetener, but it's from a plant. It's still much sweeter than regular sugar.
You can chew on the leaf of the stevia plant and it's super.
You could. Do you prefer fruit flavored yogurts or do you like plain?
No, later.
I do too. I would say if you do plain, you probably would want to add fresh blueberries or raspberries or something to give it some sweetness. If you're wanting to know certain brands, so I actually put together a snack list, and on your snack list it lists Greek yogurts. It's going to say aim for less than 9 grams of added sugar
Okay.
as just a general goal. So that way you can look, if you like Chobani, look and see how much added sugar is in Chobani, or if you like Oikos, or if you like
Light and Fitness and then
Light
granola.
and Fit.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's only 80 calories and then, well, probably less than a quarter of a cup of granola.
Yeah.
And you really got your protein
And you get a little crunch and
that is my breakfast.
yes. Yeah, I know. So a long answer, but I would say less than 9 grams of added sugar. So depending on whichever you prefer, regular or Greek, just know the Greek has more protein.
Thank you.
Good questions.
Any other questions? Yes, Gloria?
Yeah, you mentioned about plant-based coming up in another month or so. But here at Deerfield, we had what was called an Impossible Burger. And I didn't know what it was, and evidently nobody else did either.
Great
Because
question.
when I found out that it was a plant-based burger, I started to order that, and I really liked it, and it didn't taste any different than a meat, but I'd rather be a vegetarian. But anyway, they come out with a new menu, and I asked Matt, I said, what happened to the Impossible Burger? And he said, you were the only one that ordered it, so they took it off the menu.
Oh, shoot.
But what I'm getting at, I think education, when,
Yeah.
people would try it, and my kids like it.
Yeah.
And you get them frozen too,
Did you
you know,
ever try it?
and
Yeah,
So,
I did.
plant-based, so
I've
there's
had
a
some of
patty
them
called the
made
Impossible Burger.
better
You can
than
even
that.
order it out at
Yeah, you can.
Wahlburgers, Burger
Something
King,
I would choose.
maybe even more places. But it's made out of peas. So it's pea protein instead of ground beef. And the thinking is the peas have more protein, more fiber, and less saturated fat. So this is good for maybe heart health. Maybe this is good for helping you lose weight or maintain weight. And usually it tastes pretty similar, or you don't even know that it's not beef. So this has really grown.
Well, that could be it.
But
So people knew what it was, right?
Yeah.
And
And I remember when it first came out, I don't know, I had mixed thoughts, because I really like beef, or not, I don't know, I like hamburger, and living in Iowa, I don't know, that's just kind of what we did, but it has really taken off, and I realize it's here to stay. Some people are eating more meatless for sustainability reasons, some are doing it for vegetarian, vegan diets, but overall, as dietitians, we normally try to just encourage one meatless meal a week. And whether that is an Impossible Burger or eating more lentils, because lentils are high in protein and fiber, they can be a great meat alternative. Whether it's having a portobello mushroom burger, or eating more mushrooms, that could be another way. Or meatless could even mean eating more fish. So there's different ways to interpret it, but at the end of the day, we want you to eat more plants or more vegetables is kind of the goal, and less saturated fat. So less bacon, less sausage, less ribs.
I think a lot of products and the veggie line and so on, they're hybridizing them to get more protein into these things. Corn is a good example. The flavor doesn't change, but they can hybridize to get more protein in
Yeah.
these things.
My favorite way to eat more protein, besides, meat and dairy products, would definitely be chickpeas, black beans,
Yeah.
lentils, or edamame. More of the legumes. Yeah.
Black bean burgers are also something that I really, really enjoy. They mix, black beans, they ground it up essentially with other, corn and a few other different things to make it stick, and you just
Yeah.
heat it up like a burger, and it's one of my favorite things to
The
eat.
neat thing you might like, there's, black bean burgers, there's the chicken alternative patties, all of those you can microwave. So it's just, again, if it's a night where you don't feel like cooking, or again, it's still probably a healthier option than ordering takeout. You could just microwave a black bean burger, pair it with some raw or cooked carrots, and maybe some leftover mashed potatoes. And that's a very balanced meal. And hopefully you didn't have to stress and worry about cleaning up dishes and preparing a lot.
Or you
Yeah.
call down to the kitchen.
Or you call down to the kitchen.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yes.
you come down the kitchen, I just want some vegetables.
Yes.
And I think they do, try to offer quite a bit of balance when it comes to the meals and stuff like that. And not every meal is going to be perfect, and the nice thing is you get to choose what you want, and then you have different snacks that you can choose.
So I hope the Impossible Burger can come back for you to
Yes.
enjoy.
Well, I
Now that you all know what it is.
You need to go and talk to Matt.
We'll get you a case and we'll just put it on your doorstep.
I told him, I said, hey, can't you get some in the keep them in the freezer? And then when I want one,
There you go. True, and they have a long shelf life frozen.
Bill Gates was on TV and they were interviewing him, and he's into the environmental stuff. And so he was pushing all this not meat, and going in another direction, the plant-based stuff. And you probably heard, don't ever eat anything that's got a face or a mother.
Oh, that's interesting. I have not heard that, and
So I
I'm not
think of that every time I eat a pork chop. I think of that face of that pig and the big snout.
I can block that out of my mind. When I shove that steak in my mouth, I will just block that out. So it's way too good. But oh, here you go. Hold on.
Some olive oil and cheese and crackers. How about the cheese and crackers? Is that a good for protein?
I say I love cheese and crackers. The only caution is I feel like we love cheese and crackers. We tend to eat those more or first before we turn to a crunchy vegetable or sliced fruit. Not all of us, but I just think of my parents and my grandparents, and they love cheese and crackers or peanut butter crackers. And often I'm like, where's the apple, or where's the broccoli to go with it? As far as crackers go, a better option would be a higher fiber cracker. So one of my favorites is Triscuits. Triscuits have a hint of salt, so it's also nice, just it's lower in sodium. If sodium isn't a concern for you, Triscuits have a ton of different flavors too. They have dill, which is really nice with a chicken salad or still with cheese. They have a basil, balsamic vinegar basil, which I really like with mozzarella cheese in the summer. They have an avocado flavored one. They have a rosemary flavored one. So this could be an option. This has 3 grams of fiber for a serving of crackers. Wheat Thins would be another good option. Wheat Thins will have more fiber as well. Crackers that won't have any fiber would be your Ritz, your saltines, club crackers, all those buttery ones that melt in your mouth. There's no fiber in those. So I would just say, if next time you run out, try to boost your fiber with a higher fiber cracker. Cheese-wise, really you can enjoy any kind of cheese. Whether you want cheddar, mozzarella, blue cheese, you name it. Good question though.
How about the cauliflower? I like to dip the cauliflower in a little bit of ranch dressing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Is that
Yeah,
okay?
that would be great.
Make sure it's equal on the ranch to the cauliflower.
Yes.
Because that's, now I don't love raw vegetables, I prefer them cooked, but I know people such as yourself like to dip broccoli and cauliflower, and it's usually into the ranch, and it usually comes out about 70-30
Well, they
ranch
make a whole
to,
packet with
right, yeah.
very few vegetables
Right,
and
yes.
one broccoli.
Yeah.
But my dog comes begging cauliflower or broccoli, especially the stems of
Oh,
it.
that's awesome.
He likes it even better than carrots.
Huh, all right.
Maybe your dog's a dietitian in a
Right.
different life or something.
No, he knows where those bad snacks
Oh.
Oh,
are.
yeah, he likes bacon too, we know that, yeah.
Well, like I said, there is a snack list you can all take on your way out, and there's some different snacks that you can
Yep,
try,
there's some
right?
snacks, yep, cut up in a couple of different cups that you can try. One is the
Okay, so one of the ones towards the end of the table, you'll see this company's called Bada Bean Bada Boom. So I mentioned I really like legumes. These are actually called broad beans or fava beans. Have we ever heard of these? It's a flat textured bean. They coat it in rice flour, and then this flavor is sea salt, there's barbecue, there's wasabi.
Yeah, I have, I didn't get the
Honey mustard.
sriracha, yeah, there's a sweet onion,
Yes.
they must be fairly popular because there wasn't a ton of options, so.
So the reason I like these is, so for a snack, 5 grams of fiber, 7 grams of protein. So already I know those are some higher numbers. I'm gonna feel really full. They're 100 calories. Sugar is 1 gram. So it's kind of nice if you want to have a sandwich instead of chips, you could have crispy beans as your side dish. Or this is great on top of a salad, maybe on some soup for some crunch, or just on their own. So this is one option to try. For those of you that are chocolate people, like myself, back there are these protein brownie thins. Now this is a crunchy, it does remind me a little bit of the edge of the brownie pan, and I'm a person that likes a soft, chewy brownie, but when you want chocolate, this is a really nice option. One serving of this is actually 32 brownie thins. It's going to provide 8 grams of protein. It's not loaded in fiber, unfortunately, but there's only 4 grams of added sugar. So again, our goal is 24 grams or less, so this is pretty cool for 32 pieces. And I think you'll find in just, I mean, even like 5 pieces, you'd kind of get a little chocolate fix. So this is kind of a nice option when you want something chocolatey and you don't want to make up a whole sheet pan of brownies. And it's going to be a healthier, lower sugar option.
So yeah, we can check out, and then you know, we have, like I said, we have the handouts. So you can check out. I got some plates over there. You can take, and then if you want to catch up with Erin after, hopefully she'll stay for a
Yeah,
few
I'll be
minutes,
here.
and you can chat with her. But I wanted to thank all of you for coming today. I did do a video of this, so because our Zoom didn't seem to be up to par today. I blame myself. So I apologize for that, those that are maybe watching this video that didn't after. But I'll get this edited, and so you guys can come back and take a look at the video and say, you know, what was she talking about? You know, or just to think of those snacks again. But you'll have the list. But really, most important thing, I want to thank Erin so much for coming out to Deerfield. Really a lot of great information, and I thank you so much for coming out. And you know, I think that what a great way to kind of kick off some of our learning series as we continue to keep growing and learning. So again, thank you, Erin, for coming, and we will see you all later. Take care. Thank you.